Welcome back to Arise Prime Time. I'm Charles Onyekolu, and I have a guest commentator with me for the rest of the program who's going to give us her personal take on the news and issues of the day. And she's the journalist, political affairs commentator, and Arise news analyst, Dr. Constance Ikokwu. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. Always great to see you. And of course, you heard Aisha Yesufu at the beginning of the program. Irrepressible, really, is all I can say. I mean, extraordinary woman. Yes,
she is. I mean, she's outspoken, fearless, indefatigable, and has a very strong voice. She goes out there and does her thing. The fascinating thing, though, is she mentioned it, that in 2015, she was on a very different trajectory, direction, supporting President Muhammadu Buhari. So it's interesting to see her in an opposite camp. And some may say...
And in 2019, she supported Obi Ezekwesili in her presidential bid.
Yes. So some may say, does that say something about her judgment? You know, because many people that have followed President Muhammadu Buhari from when he was in the military and when he was out of office kind of knew that, or had an inkling that he didn't really have the capacity to be president and wouldn't do much if he came into power. But I guess that during that time, everybody wanted anybody but President Jonathan. So there's a bit of judgment issue there. You know, but at the end of the day, today, she's supporting the Labour Party, and the sort of youth movement is behind that party, and that's what she is.
But what about her explanations about, because I mean there's been a lot of talk in the press about the challenges that the Labour Party faces and Peter Obi and so on, and one of them is that sense that they're not penetrating the north. She doesn't seem to agree with that. Her analysis was that, you know, they've been reaching out to the ordinary people, the so-called Talakawas, and also the northern leadership, so that there is a method to the madness.
There is that concern. It has been there, and it's a valid concern because the way that Nigerian politics is run is sort of regional. There are elements of religious beliefs and interests and, you know, preoccupation in, you know, different candidates, and also there is the element of tribalism, or, you know, you are from my part of the country, so I will support you because of that. And of course, you have an election in which the northern part of the country would like to retain power. Therefore, a Peter Obi might not be the candidate for them. Going by what we saw last weekend in Labour Party in their campaign in Niger State, in Kano State, in Katsina, in some other parts of the north, it would seem that they may be penetrating. Of course, there will be people that will vote for the Labour Party in the north, not everybody. It remains to be seen how much political weight that Obi has in that part of the country. We will know by February 25.
Yes, absolutely. But they've got, I mean, they've admitted that they have problems with funding, for example, and that's a fundamental problem, isn't it, in Nigeria? It
is a fundamental problem. Just looking at the candidate of the that you just
the ADC candidate.
Yes, they may be Kachiku. You would ask the question: how much money do they have as a party? What's their national spread? How many members of the party do they have? It's a tricky and sensitive issue in Nigeria that should be dealt with. If you do not have a pot of money, how do you fund traveling to different countries, different parts of the country? It's also the presidential system of government. You have to go everywhere. You have to campaign. You need to have party offices. You need to have party agents. All of that costs money. Can we begin to discuss how we can reduce the cost of governance and the cost of elections so that we can widen the space for people that have integrity, they have competence, they have capacity, but do not have money, can be part of the conversation and actually participate in the elections.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But in fairness to Nigeria, though, I mean, if you go to the UK, the elections are essentially between two parties with a third kind of, snapping at their heels. I mean, you've got Labour and the Conservatives, and then you've got the Liberal Democrats, somewhere sort of in third place, and they never quite get past that position. In the same thing with America, you've got you've got the Republicans and the Democrats. So, I mean, a two-party system is almost like an established you know, part of democracy.
Right. Here, the Labour Party is trying to make it a three-party system, so the political landscape is changing. But to, you know, to add to what you have said, yes, those countries, they have two established parties. There are also laws on campaign financing. And most of the candidates that run for election do not run from their pocket. You have companies, you have individuals that have money that make contributions. Also, citizens are well enough to make contributions to their candidates from their pocket. You can imagine if everybody contributes 100 naira or 200 naira in a country of over 200 million people, that would, you know, provide a lot of funding for the candidate. So we have to talk about campaign financing. We have to talk about how do parties run their machinery. This is important. If you want to have a country where elections are transparent, people are not having to steal money in order to get into office, and then try to recoup that money when they become president or when they become the governor, then it's something that we have to deal with.
So what do you make of the election so far? We've got just literally over a month. I mean, the campaigns and everything before that sort of crucial day, February the 25th.
Charles, it has been fascinating and rather entertaining. I mean, there has been intense preoccupation, and this is indicative of the level of investment that Nigerians are making in this election. It's a very important election. I mean, you see all sorts. On the one hand, you have the APC and the PDP, you know, threatening to blow the window out from each other. And then you have the comic relief side where talented Nigerians are creating memes, very funny memes, very funny songs, you know, on social media, the blah, blue, blue, and bulaba, and the rest of them. So it's really captivating.
It's entertaining, isn't
yes,
it? Yeah.
It is very entertaining. But on a serious note, everyone is watching. Nigerians are following this election very closely. They are listening to what the candidates are saying and what they are not saying. And they're really asking questions for the first time. So it's very good. I hope that after 2023, the next election cycle, will have stronger voices coming out and saying, you know what, we need to do this.
I certainly hope so. Dr. Constance Ikokwu, brilliant talking with you as always. And she is, of course, a journalist, political affairs commentator, and a Rise News analyst. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.
Well, that's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, bye-bye, and thank you for watching.